Good morning, everybody. You can hear me okay, Hida?
Yeah, Jonathan.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, I'll get started. I see we've a good few people in the call. Thanks everybody for joining us. A couple of names I do recognize, so good to see you coming back to us. So this webinar will last just under an hour. I'm here today on behalf of the Diatec Group, which are an Autodesk Gold partner in Ireland with offices in Dublin, Cork and Galway, and CCAD based in Cork are also part of the Diatec Group, just to make you aware. Some contact details there if you following this webinar. There will be time for a Q&A, of course, but if you wanted to discuss anything in particular, you know, personal to your or to personalize a demo to your company, or get a custom demo done for a particular project that you're working on, or just want to have a chat, you can drop an email, autodesk@diatec.ie, or even just drop us a phone call by all means. And Jim, based in Cork, has kindly given us his mobile numbers as well there. If you want to drop him a call, any sort of queries or questions that you might have, whether that's sales or technical related, just let us know. We'll be happy to help you out. Just to make you aware of our next upcoming webinar is on June 24th. And that will be covering ISO 19650 workflows with the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So it'll be kind of expanding on what we've covered today, but looking at it from an ISO 19650 point of view and perspective of those particular workflows. So Autodesk Construction Cloud, we will touch on some of that today because we're here to talk about Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. And that is part of the Autodesk Construction Cloud. It's a certain module based inside the Autodesk Construction Cloud. But next webinar on the 24th, we'll discuss the ISO relevance of that to the Autodesk Construction Cloud as well. So my name is Jonathan Reinhardt. So as I said, some of you I do recognize. So good to see you on the call. I'm a chartered architectural technologist. My background is as a BIM manager and have studied a master's degree in BIM management and bachelor's degree in architectural technology as well. And I've worked in the industry since about 2005 in both Ireland, UK and Australia. And I work as a technical consultant, primarily in BIM across Europe, for the last kind of 4 years as well. And that's, I suppose, the context I'm here today. And I have used these workflows in practice myself. So I can definitely empathize with depending what type of design firm you're from, I can definitely empathize from an architectural point of view. I have used these workflows. And I am familiar with the civil and as well as the plant 3D workflows as well. But I suppose my primary area is more so in the architecture. And I have used, as I said, these processes in practice myself as well. So just to give you a bit of an agenda for this morning, I'll give you a bit of industry context just to kind of paint that Autodesk picture and where BIM Collaborate Pro fits into the kind of industry context as well. We'll do an overview of BIM Collaborate Pro, so that will be including going into Revit workflows, Plant 3D workflows, and Civil 3D workflows. So I appreciate there may be people on the call that may only be concerned about architecture or concerned about civils or infrastructure or plant. and that's fine. But I think the way to understand it is that we actually, as projects get more complex, we're seeing more of a need for collaboration between these different disciplines. And I think BIM Collaborate Pro really brings together architecture, civils and plant, and even further into things like AutoCAD as well, which was recently announced as being integrated with BIM Collaborate Pro. And I'll share a link in relation to that as well. And I'll mention some customer stories and adoption successes as well. And there are some Irish architects in there as well, or Irish-based architects as well as internationally based architects. I will jump into the software. I do have a demo set up in the background. I was testing it myself this morning and yesterday, and I'll give you a bit of a run through as to what the user interface looks like, where the various tools are based, and what comes as part of BIM Collaborate Pro as well. So business needs are changing. We need to stay competitive and differentiate your business with different types of cloud technology. So with cloud technology, it's possible to maintain business continuity. So you can work from anywhere on anything, as well as giving you that kind of access to the information that's contained in the cloud as well. It's not just a file that is stored. There's a lot of intelligence attached to that as well. And BIM Collaborate Pro lends itself to being able to leverage that, I suppose, intelligent information as well, more so than being just a file store, essentially. It also gives us clarity as well about different types of ecosystems, integrating and collaborating with different designers, different clients. And that's relevant to medium-sized commercial projects, right up to the large complex projects as well. It definitely has its place in terms of that collaboration as well, and being able to share information. And it also, I suppose, visibility is quite an important thing, that project management and resource allocation becomes easier with tools for mitigating risk, being able to predict your resources as well, and giving you more control over the design elements and design stage of your project as well. And it's very important for your business to be able to have that type of visibility to I suppose, run efficiently, and hopefully push a good profit. So to be able to design smarter and build faster, unexpected opportunities for growth, learning, and innovation all start with connecting information. So collaboration in the industry is being drastically reshaped in the last 12 months. Companies are investing in digitalization more than ever, but they want solutions that connect more than just having teams, offer flexibility, and provide powerful insight as well. So you want to connect your teams, your tools, data, all in one place, to improve productivity and avoid rework as well. And then you want to give flexibility as well, such as, inclusive of different stakeholders, different clients, and various different people that are involved in a design project as well. You want to give them that flexibility, working across multiple different pieces of software well. It's not just Revit, for example. There's lots of other software that happens as part of a design project, and you want to be able to make that that workflow and those processes as flexible as possible as well. And then you want to be able to give secure access and data storage and data centralized in one place as well, to bring those kind of solutions to those business problems that we looked at as well. So BIM Collaborate Pro allows you to anytime, anywhere work with architecture, engineering, and construction collaboration as well. So what is BIM Collaborate Pro? So it's a platform for the whole project team. So that's designers, architects, engineers, consultants, coordinators, project managers, and any decision makers in the process as well. So companies need more flexibility for remote and anytime, anywhere type of work now more than ever. So using certain design tools that they know and love, such as Revit, 3D, Plant 3D, AutoCAD, all of those pieces of software as well. So companies need fewer disconnected and non-integrated apps and more streamlining of data and workflows as well. So not all decision makers need to have authoring tools. They don't need to have Revit or Civil or Plant, but they can manage design reviews using Autodesk Construction Cloud and get input from important project contributors when it matters. So within BIM Collaborate Pro, you get Autodesk Docs, you get Autodesk BIM Collaborate, and then BIM Collaborate Pro actually adds that extra work sharing element as part of the unified platform as well. And then you're able to share feedback, view insights, and detect clashes on any device as well. So that's on mobile devices, particularly for design teams or foremen or construction companies working on site, taking that design information then to that later stage as well. So BIM Collaborate Pro is great if your team uses more than one design authoring tool, but it can also be beneficial if you're only using one authoring design tool as well. So between Revit, Civil, and Plant 3D, for example, and even if you don't use workflows that require, for example, a common data environment or somewhere to store your files, or more than one design tool, it's likely that your extended project teams, so the ones that you collaborate with, they still do. So being part of digital project delivery means needing the ability to review and access files, comment on them, and co-author them, or even carry out change orders on those as well. So, BIM Collaborate Pro is a great solution out there for collaborating in Revit, Civil 3D, and Plant 3D because it gives you model coordination, gives you project insights, and it gives you issue management as well, which I'll go into in the demonstration also. So why would you use BIM Collaborate Pro? So it allows you to review and coordinate design projects, and as I said, share feedback and view insights and detect clashes as well between various different models. So similar to what Navisworks does for you in your desktop version, we can now do that in the cloud in Autodesk Construction Cloud as well. You could previously do it in BIM 360 in the model coordination, but that is now part of BIM Collaborate Pro as well. So they kind of come together under BIM Collaborate Pro, and I'll explain again in more detail essentially what that means. So just I'll briefly go through this, the evolution of design collaboration. So we had team single location who were firewalled, limited collaboration, daily BIM management, no internal activity tracking, and then you'd have a localized central model for user one, user two, etc. Then we had enterprise multiple locations that were firewalled again. This would be for a single firm, expensive hardware, and slow data exchange. And then project multiple companies, multiple locations with managed access, and all project stakeholders, extensive tools for project management and delivery using something like BIM Collaborate Pro. So just if any of you are using Revit work sharing out there, just to make you aware of the difference between Revit work sharing and BIM Collaborate Pro. So you can see on the right-hand side all the additional features as part of having BIM Collaborate Pro versus having Revit Server. So data centralization in a single repository, issues and markups on mobile devices, very powerful, change visualization, deliverable coordination, work sharing with multiple companies are all additional features of that as well. So Autodesk Construction Cloud is a unified platform for AEC project delivery. So both design, planning, building, and operating as well. Design data and BIM are in our DNA, you could say, and we are uniquely positioned to extend the value of that information throughout the planning, the building, and the operating phase, letting project data flow seamlessly across the life cycle and making it available to other teams in the right place at the right time. And those other teams can exist in your own company, even if if you're an engineering firm, if you're an architectural firm, or a civils firm, or those teams can obviously be other stakeholders or other design firms outside of your company as well. So BIM Collaborate Pro lends itself to both those scenarios, both internal collaboration and external collaboration as well. So BIM Collaborate Pro, just to make you aware of what the difference is. So in front of us here, this is Autodesk BIM Collaborate. So this is not the Pro version, what I'm showing you here. So as part of BIM Collaborate, you get docs, you get design collaboration, and you get model coordination. But with BIM Collaborate Pro, you get all of those features, but what you also get is Revit Cloud work sharing. So this is allowing you to work from inside Revit as part of these particular workflows. So again, just to reiterate on that, just BIM Collaborate, you get docs, design collaboration, model coordination. But if you purchase BIM Collaborate Pro, you get all of those as well as Revit Cloud work sharing. But that applies to Revit users. But what about civil and structural users? So, or sorry, civil users. So from BIM Collaborate, again, for civil users, you get docs, design collaboration, and model coordination, again, for civil users. But for BIM Collaborate Pro, you get the collaboration for civil 3D. So again, understanding the difference between BIM Collaborate and BIM Collaborate Pro. They are two separate purchases, just to make you aware. So, so whether you're civil, whether you're Revit, you get that additional work sharing, and the same for plant as well. You get docs, design collaboration, model coordination, and then obviously you get collaboration for plant 3D as part of BIM Collaborate Pro. So just to understand that again, and as part of BIM Collaborate Pro, you get the Insight dashboard, which gives you a complete browser accessible dashboard to predict and analytical data or capabilities. And the Insight module, as it's known, of Autodesk Docs presents data and analytics capability in a unified project homepage, dashboards and reports, partner data integration, and easy customization as well. So you can pull in certain third-party plugins, which is known as cards or customization cards within your dashboard as well. So these features help the teams manage risk by giving them personalized visibility into daily priorities and gives you an instant snapshot of individual project health. So collaboration, communication, and coordination, these same issues, I suppose, will resonate with a vast majority of design firms, and their opinion about the challenges to working together effectively have been captured in a survey by Autodesk as well, and that's what's informed this particular BIM Collaborate Pro. So if your business concern is alleviating complex projects by enabling members to better collaborate on designs, you can use BIM Collaborate Pro to enable multiple users to co-author Revit models with Revit Cloud work sharing. So this gives you the ability to extend work sharing to project teams in any location. So you can also better allocate resources as a result of that, and then assign the best team members with the most relevant skill set to each project. So this is just a screenshot taken from BIM Collaborate Pro. And if you're familiar with BIM 360, it's a very similar user interface. It's just a slightly bit cleaner, a little less information in it, but it just makes it more fluid to use as a result. So that's Autodesk Construction Cloud rather than BIM 360. So if you are concerned about security, and this question comes up a lot with me from design firms, so BIM Collaborate Pro will actually give you a great deal of flexibility purely because you can actually control who has the access to your design information. So you can control that by role, by company, by individual, based on their email address as well. So with it, you can restrict that user access to certain folders, or even limit access according to that role or company, and then control that work sharing and design deliverable exchange. Purely, that you can be reassured that the right information is in the right hands throughout the project and throughout that design stage as well. And then you can be more confident in the information that is actually making it to site and getting into the hands of the contractor as well. So if you're ever concerned about like efficient team communication, you can use BIM Collaborate Pro to ensure that your project team is always aware of the project's overall success, reduce rework with trackable project activity, facilitate model exchange with deliverable coordination as well. And you can also navigate change visualization by the different teams, whether that's architecture, structural, or again, as I said, it can even be internal teams. You divide them into different teams, whether it's architectural, interior design, any type of internal teams that you design to or decide to allocate to particular tasks with on the project as well. So this screenshot here on the right-hand side, this shows the swim lane. So if you're familiar with BIM 360 design, that's essentially what BIM Collaborate Pro has become with design collaboration module. gives you this swim lane. So the swim lane is, you see all these colored teams, and then we have all these colored lines coming out of it. And these just represent a date and a time of when their information was actually shared. And you don't necessarily have to use the swim lane in every project. And I've had this discussion with a couple of design firms as well. Some of them, particularly if they're working in internal collaboration, they will use BIM Collaborate Pro, but they may not use the swim lane feature purely because they just use the docs folders to access the models, but yet they have used the Revit work sharing as part of BIM Collaborate Pro. So you're not obliged to use the swim lane view feature whatsoever as well, but it is there, particularly for more complex projects. It is quite valuable, I would have to say. But I would say for if you're working internal collaboration, you don't necessarily always have to use that swim lane type of feature either. Then it also allows you to create accountability, and by ensuring that everyone involved in the project is completing their tasks in a timely manner, you can create issues and you can actually put a closeout date. You know, you can give a person 2 days, 3 days, or a week to come back to you with certain design information. You know, if it was something that needs to be clarified around building regulations, for example, you know, is this stairs the correct width? Are we meeting our part K and part B of building regulations in this? You can give that particular person or company a set amount of time to respond to that as part of BIM Collaborate Pro as well. So clash detection is part of BIM Collaborate Pro. So clash detection, as I said, was part of the BIM 360 platform, but it was a separate purchase. So it was part of the model coordination. Now it's actually part of BIM Collaborate Pro. So you get the design collaboration and you get the model coordination as well as part of that workflow. And obviously they work quite well together, purely because if you're using design collaboration to co-author models with various different stakeholders, different design teams, you want to know if those models are going to clash. You know, if they're sharing them, are they clashing? So you're able to check that as well at the same time as working in those collaboration processes. And the same applies to whether you're using Civil 3D or whether you're using Revit as well. So from they were kind of the Revit benefits we were looking at there. This is from a Civil 3D perspective, in that Civil 3D collaboration is now virtually possible anywhere. So you're able to extend that collaboration again to different design teams using Civil 3D as well. And again, manage all of those accountability and access the same way you would on collaborating your Revit models as well. So these are very similar. They're the same features. It's the same platform, just from a civil context is what we're looking at here in front of us. And again, creating issues and markups, the same with your civil models or from your Civil 3D models. You can do all of that in BIM Collaborate Pro as well. And clash detection, we can see a screenshot here, what looks like a tram stop or some sort of a train station perhaps, being able to perform that clash detection. And between the different stakeholders, you know, perhaps the architect has designed this particular tram stop or a Lewis stop, let's call it. Maybe the architect has designed that, and then obviously civil engineer or infrastructure team have designed the platform itself, and even down to the track. So you can perform a clash detection then, bringing those stakeholders together from, you know, a Revit model and a Civil 3D model as well. And the same with plant, you're able to perform collaboration and coordination within there as well. So again, if you're working in Plant 3D, again, collaborate virtually anywhere, and extend that collaboration to all of your various different teams. And you can file lock. The process for Plant 3D works slightly different to the Revit process, but it does allow you, again, to collaborate with design teams or designers, stakeholders that are using both Revit, Civil 3D, and you could be using Plant as well from that point of view. And again, using permissions from a Plant 3D perspective within BIM Collaborate Pro is all part of that too. And again, perform clash detection on your Plant 3D model. So I've just got some videos here that I am going to, again, share my screen 2 moments. I'll share my sound on this. So just some workflow videos from Autodesk as part of just to show you the Revit workflows as well. And I will also be jumping into the software too.
Project teams communicate their design updates with each other using the Design Collaboration module in Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. Other teams get notified through the project timeline that a new package is now available. To make these changes available to other teams, the structural team creates a package, a combination of one or more sets to be shared. This package might include the Revit model, an IFC file, and other supporting documents. Once the structural team has created and shared this package, other teams will be notified via the project timeline in the Design Collaboration module. Here, the MEP team sees that a new package is available from the structural team. After exploring the package and reviewing the changes that will impact their model, the MEP team decides to consume the package. This updates the aggregated project model view in the Design Collaboration module, where you will see all consumed models plus your own work-in-progress model overlaid on top of each other. In the Model Coordination module of Autodesk BIM Collaborate,
that showed us how that design collaboration integrates with Revit and working with that kind of multi-stakeholder as well. And then we're going to look at the model coordination side of it as well.
Pro, multidisciplinary teams can quickly identify and resolve clashes and design errors prior to construction. In model coordination, you can view models that have been uploaded to the cloud. From here, you can select models from your coordination space to use in model coordination. You can create saved views of a select group of models, which is helpful when working with subsets of a given project. Models uploaded to the folder are coordinated and instantly clash-checked. You can view the number of active clashes between any two models in this matrix. Clicking on a cell will navigate to the clash location, showing you what is interfering between structural and MEP. This means you can easily review clashes without waiting for coordination meetings and precisely locate those clashes within your models. You can mark a clash as not an issue if it does not require further attention. Model coordination allows you to create and edit issues directly from clashes between models. The issue title contains the ID number to help track the element in the Revit model. You can edit issue details, add information such as location and due date, and then close the Details panel. The issue owner will receive an email notification with a link to the issue. If you go to Build Issues, you can see the list of issues which have been created for this project. You can view issue details here. A screenshot of the clash also appears here. This was automatically captured at the moment the issue was created. You can easily change the issue status from open to in review, or even to closed once the problem has been resolved.
So that was just looking at the model coordination side of it. At the end there, he mentioned Autodesk Build. So that is a separate add-on for Autodesk Construction Cloud, but it does allow you to retrieve those issues then once you get to site with that as well. But in the demonstration there, Philippe showed creating issues. But when you create issues, you can actually access them in your docs user interface as well, and on your homepage dashboard as well, which I'll show in my demonstration also. And then just to kind of show you what the collaboration for civil 3D workflows, as I mentioned, I'm not a civil engineer, I'm not a civil expert, but I will leave it up to the experts to show you those particular workflows in this video.
Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro is a unified platform that allows you to store and manage your projects and collaborate with other team members in a seamless process. You can easily and quickly set up project data and control user access to folders and files. Files can be moved to the platform using the drag and drop or save functions. Add plan sheets to the project that can be shared or distributed electronically. You can easily determine plan sheet numbers and tags for search options in a paperless environment. You can utilize and access external reference files that are stored securely. Team members can implement familiar workflows using real-time design file data. Data shortcuts for Civil 3D can also be created, stored, and leveraged. You can easily collaborate your design to include the required elements. File locking feature will display the files you and your team members are currently using. Compare older file versions with the current file, or compare separate design alternatives. You can also utilize and restore previous file versions by making them current. You can provide feedback and comments with the markup tools to communicate design intent throughout the lifecycle of the project. Create design issues and assign them to other project members. Keep track of all the issues and deadlines with a complete audit trail. The issues are promptly sent to the responsible parties, and once the issues have been resolved, they can be easily closed out. The Insight dashboard provides a comprehensive look at issues, submittals, and RFIs that helps you identify any critical issues. The Model Coordination dashboard can be set up to display current design models and identifies clash locations. You can create design issues at these locations to prevent any costly rework and collaborate more effectively with your entire team. Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro is a unified platform that allows
the Civil 3D workflows that you can see work quite well, and obviously quite a similar process to using Revit as well. Civil 3D is very similar in how that works for civil designers, but obviously the separate software integration, such as it being Civil 3D as opposed to Revit, works quite well there as well. And then here's an example of BIM Collaborate Pro for Plant 3D users.
With collaboration for Plant 3D using Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, team members can work efficiently together and access the centrally stored plant project data. Once the project administrator has set up the collaboration space, added team members, and set the appropriate permissions, the project members can then start work, sharing their data as the project progresses. The P&ID drafter, for example, will share the P&ID schematics to the project, and the piping designer will then create the 3D piping model using the shared P&ID data as a guide. Other members of the project team, using the shared piping model, will then generate the necessary ortho and ISO drawings, including, as well as other documentation, bills of materials, which are then also shared to the project. At any time during the development of the project, the design reviewers can check the progress of the project and then assign tasks as part of the review process to other members of the team in order to rectify any issues that may arise. The project manager can obtain an instant overview of the project status, gaining valuable insight into the progress of the various designs and how the collaborators are progressing. The project manager can also drill down into the project to examine the detail of any issues and, if necessary, interact directly with them. Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro also provides the ability to federate separate models in order to coordinate designs from multiple disciplines and to access additional tools such as clash detection. Collaboration for Plant 3D using Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro gives you the power to extend project data to all stakeholders for greater visibility and more informed decision making.
That was Collaborate Pro, and you could for Plant 3D, and you could see at the end there how they had actually brought in a Plant 3D model as well as a Revit model and DWG information as well. So quite a powerful collaboration integration working out there as well. So just before I jump into the software myself to give you a bit of a deeper dive and introduction to the user interface, just some customer stories, Autodesk customer stories. So BIM director for AECOM in the US. So what takes us 6 weeks now takes us 24 hours, and that's due to their BIM coordination and multidiscipline collaboration. Their project was delivered with less than 1% rework on a typical job. And I appreciate this, you know, a US-based project is probably a particularly large project, but I have spoken to Irish-based customers as well and UK-based customers and design firms that have had significant time savings as a result of using BIM Collaborate Pro, or formerly BIM 360 Design as well, which is the same type of workflow. Then in the Netherlands, we had the BIM model manager from VK. So thanks to productivity gains, they saved well more than 4,000 euros a year for each employee. That's quite a staggering number, quite impressive, I have to say. And that's again thanks to those productivity gains as a result of using those new technologies such as BIM Collaborate Pro. Then we've Costivine and Wright, based in the UK. We also know they have an Irish base as well. So they're seeing productivity increases of up to 25% on cloud-based project due to the load and syncing times alone across their various design offices as well. So BIM Collaborate Pro has increased our Revit and associated BIM productivity immensely. That's from the BIM manager. Then we have Borough Happold as well. So collaboration gave us a cost reduction of 90% and time saving of 20%. And then we have O'Mahony Pike, their BIM manager on Prunty. So anyone with secure access, internet connection, and a web browser or smartphone can view and interact with the most recent files. It's game changing, so quite positive feedback there. And then we've other internationally based companies as well who have given quite good feedback too, and quite good experience with BIM Collaborate Pro. BIM Collaborate Pro is being used in over 150 countries, 70,000 projects, 150,000 models, and 10 million syncs as well. So just to point you to certain resources, just some Autodesk resources as well, you know, as well as having access to both the Diatech technical team and sales team as well. There is some just workflow content available on the Autodesk website as well. So there's a lot of help out there for you if you want to know more, or if you're just getting started as well as part of that. So lots of different forums and training guides and help guides as well out there. And that goes for both Revit, Civil 3D, and Plant and 3D collaboration as well. So just for the next few minutes, I'm actually just going to jump into the software myself. So I will just share my screen. See my screen. So this is essentially the Autodesk Construction Cloud user interface. So similar to BIM 360, again, just in my opinion, just a bit cleaner looking. I quite like it. It's kind of, rather than having the navy top, it's got kind of a white top. But as part of the BIM Collaborate Pro subscription, what you get is you get docs, you get design collaboration, and you get model coordination, and you get insight. So that's all part of that BIM Collaboration Pro subscription. And then as part of that, you know, Docs gives you access as a location to actually store your files, but also it's the location where your collaboration files will reside as well. So if you're working from inside Revit, so I have Revit open here. So if you're working from inside Revit, I've actually synced this model to the cloud just this morning. I just synchronized it using the Collaborate tab, and then that model was then accessible in the cloud for me as well as a Revit modeler or as a Revit user. And I have actually stored that from an architectural perspective. Just here's the architectural model that I actually created this morning, and placed in using BIM Collaborate Pro directly from inside Revit. I then actually made changes to that model. So I made changes to that model. I actually added this kind of rear bin store extension to the back here. And I can actually, I can navigate certain different options in here. So I can also place issues if I want. I could place an issue, for example, like we saw, I could place a building code issue. I could place an issue here, and I could assign that to a particular person in the team as well. I could assign that to another individual. So I'm going to assign this to the engineer. I'm not going to give a location because it's fairly self-explanatory. I could add a reference if I want. I could add photographs, even a link into the technical guidance documents if there's some sort of issue there as well. So that's now going to save that particular issue automatically. So I can unpublish it if I want. And I can also see an activity log to show me who it was assigned to and when the issue was created as well. So that's automatically created now. I don't have to click publish or anything like that as well. So other elements that I can actually perform as part of this, I can browse all of the issues. So you may have 10 or 20 or 30, even a lot of issues as part of this. You can browse those particular issues. I can browse the different levels that are from my Revit model as well in a 3D file. You can also browse 2D files as well. This all of your Revit 2D plans will upload as well, as long as you've published them as part of your sheets and models. So if I go into my sheets, I've got my site plan. Got my site plan from my Revit sheet, and I can actually see all of the various different information on this, even down to title block information. So that's taken directly from a Revit sheet rather than a PDF, but you can in fact upload PDFs as well. That's also possible. So this kind of 2D and 3D viewer, this sits across Autodesk Construction Cloud, whether you're using design collaboration, whether you're just using the docs feature as well. So as long as you upload your files either from Revit or manually by drag and dropping them, you can still access them in here. So that's just looking at the kind of docs feature. Gives you access to store files. You can control all the permissions from in here as well. Again, very similar to the BIM 360 user interface that we've seen previously. And you can also create custom properties and custom attributes as part of that. You can still perform reviews or approval workflows, which were also part of BIM 360. I could create a review in here. I could select a file from, for example, from my architectural folder. I might want to select my Revit model. I want to create an approval workflow. I can then select my approval workflow that this will go through after it's being shared from Revit. So again, going through that quality assurance check as part of that. I can also do it with CAD files as well, and I can also add various different additional files if I want. I can even add PDF files or different types of documents as part of that. Maybe there was a comparison that I needed to perform as part of that. I actually haven't created a workflow in here. That's why it's just showing as loading in there as well. But I can create a workflow if I want. I can go into my settings and go in and create particular workflows if I want as well. So a workflow is when it moves from one person for approval. So it might move from the technician to the architect to maybe the senior project manager as part of a project as well. And that file then gets copied into a designated location. You can set that location. That can be the shared area, and therefore then your other project collaborators will then have access to that as well. You can also create something called transmittals. So this will create transmittals. So I can choose different files or folders that I want to share. So I can select my Revit file, for example. I want to transmit this, and I can select a particular recipient, or Nathan Orr, who's my alias with my own email address. I can select that person, hit save on that, and I can give them certain different permissions before it gets sent. Just hit create. They'll then receive an email to say that this file has been sent, and they'll be able to access that file as well. So that's quite useful for people that aren't part of the platform, creating those transmittals. And then any issues that I create across the platform, even in design collaboration, that's all accessible in here as well. I can see that particular issue that I assigned to that particular model, that is accessible in here as well. And I can actually click in here and it will bring me to that particular issue as well in that same 3D view that we saw a couple of moments ago, where I actually created the issue as well. So we can see that issue has been placed there and it's been assigned to the engineer. So that's issues. You can also generate reports as well as part of docs. So create a report from in here of your particular different types of information, whether that's issuing information or an issue summary of when files have been shared, or sorry, when issues have been created, how many issues are outstanding, for example. So you can create all of that. Control all your member permissions, and then various different settings residing in here as well. So that's just looking at the docs feature essentially. And you can also, upgrade Revit Cloud models. So if your Revit model is from version 2019 or 2018, you can actually upgrade that if everybody is using 21 or version 22 as part of Revit in there as well. So that's just looking at docs. So this is an example project, just to reiterate that. So if I go into the design collaboration module, what I actually see as part of this, so these are the models that I've shared myself from inside Revit. So this particular model file is actually taken from Revit. I've made changes to this. I've synchronized it with Central, and then I've published the latest model. And that is then retrievable within here and then shareable as part of the design collaboration workflow. So this is the swim lane feature that I mentioned. So I only have one team created. So for every folder, you're allowed to create a team. So shared folder will appear up here. So it will show anytime something has been shared into the shared folder. But then the architecture team, you could also have an engineering team here as well. And it will show you the different files that are part of that as well. It shows me when that DWG was actually shared. I can see the date that it was published on was the 19th today. And then I can see the same for the actual Revit file as well. So so this is the Revit file that I shared this morning, earlier this morning, but then I actually shared another Revit file later that day. And you can see as part of the drawing is actually showing that bin store at the rear. So what I can actually do in here as well, I can go back to my team view. So this is just going to show me all of my different sheets and 3D views that are actually available to me as part of this package that was shared with inside design collaboration as well. So I went to my project model. So that is actually still syncing. I left it syncing. So what I can actually do is perform a change visualization between those. Once that model has synced, any changes that came from Revit, I can actually compare those two different models to each other, and it will actually show me the version, the previous version, and any changes that occurred. But that model is also accessible to me within Docs as well. So that model actually resides in Docs. Just to explain that to you, that design collaboration gives you that Revit work sharing, but all of the files are actually reside in the background here. So if I go into my version here, so I can actually compare versions. So what I'm going to do is compare version 2 and version 3 as part of that sheet 1, and these should be two different models if I remember correctly. So that's just loading up the visualization. So it's just showing me here what was added since the last time it was synchronized. So you can see these three walls essentially were added. It will show me anything that was removed in red. So if there was a wall removed, window, a beam, anything like that, it will visually show you that, and you can filter on all of that. You can even go down through each separate element as well. So if you're taking a model in from the structural engineer, for example, it will show you if they've added beams, removed beams, or even modified beams as well, or vice versa with the architect, if the architect has made any changes, and you can filter through all of those as well within the change visualization as well. Then as part of that BIM Collaborate Pro, what you also get, as I said, is the model coordination. So model coordination now comes as part of BIM Collaborate Pro. So I have two separate modules. I've got design collaboration, I've got model coordination. But model coordination, again, is actually linked back to a docs folder. So from model coordination, you designate which is your coordination folder. And the reason you designate it is because whenever there's a file added to that shared folder, so I've chosen the shared folder, for example, it will automatically run a clash detection. So in model coordination, I can run into my models. So I can see I've got quite a lot of models uploaded here. So I will just go into my clashes on the left-hand side, and it automatically runs all of these clashes for you. So you can filter through these various different clashes, and you can say what the important clashes are or are not. So you can close out the clashes if you want. So I'm actually going to, let's see, I have a 3D file here, Galesco 3D file. And we'll just look at the various different, I'm going to go to various different 3D views. So I'm just going to filter through some of these just to look for the best one to actually flash again. So if I go into this particular 3D view, so it's just going to load up those clashes, and it's actually going to show me those clashes in a 3D view. So it's showing me from this particular model. So it's taking this model, I called it Gale School Architecture, and then there was a separate 3D view that was actually updated. So you can create separate clash views as well. And I can filter down through those various views as well. So what I can do is filter down through those various views. Is showing me that there's a clash with this basic roof, or maybe one other clash between this particular model element. What I can now do is I could actually create an issue based on that. So I can click on this, again, create an issue. Just take a moment for that to create, and then I can then assign that to an individual as well as part of that. The same way we assigned it to the engineer, we can assign that particular issue, and then all of these issues are then visible again within that user interface. So if I create an issue there, I can then go back to my Insight if I want, or I can go back to Docs, and that issue will actually appear there as well. So I'm just going to load up Insight. Insight is kind of a dashboard view of all of your project information. And we can see here that all of these project issues are visible to me here. And you can use this to track companies that maybe have outstanding issues assigned against them, and when the particular due date is assigned. So there hasn't been any due dates assigned to this particular one, but I could in fact go in and edit this particular one if I was the initiator of it. And I can see other information such as when the last design package was shared from the architectural team. I can then click in that and it will actually bring me into the latest architectural package, which is made up of the different drawing sheets, a different model, and the different CAD files or associated information that as well. So it brings you into design collaboration from this particular dashboard as well. And then I can just filter on particular design issues that maybe have been assigned as a design type issue, and I can see various different types of dashboard information here as well. But you can imagine on quite a complex project, being able to filter by subcontractor or company or by issue type as part of this particular type of dashboard is quite powerful as well. And as I said in the presentation, you can also bring in third-party packages as part of this. You can even bring in approval workflows. So if you have a lot of approval workflows that are outstanding, you can also integrate those. And there are various different third-party integrations as part of this as well, not just Autodesk ones as well, even Esri, Evercam, Ignite as well. So lots of different access there, and Matterport as well if you've got any kind of 360-degree type surveys captured as well. You can also pull in that information in here as well. So it's not only Autodesk information that you have to use as part of that dashboard. So that's essentially looking at BIM Collaborate Pro. Just to reiterate, BIM Collaborate Pro includes docs, design collaboration, model coordination, and all of your Revit work sharing, your Civil 3D work sharing, and your Plant 3D work sharing. And there are also AutoCAD workflows as well as part of that integration. I'm now happy to take any questions. Please just drop them into the chat box, or if your question needs to wait or anything, just feel free to drop it to autodesk@diatech.ie. Thank you. There's a question. Yes, this presentation will be available after Diatech are recording it, as far as I know. So we've got some other. I'm just going to pop up the contact slide as well, just to make you aware, to give you access to that. So just to reiterate, if you have any questions, just drop them into the chat box right here, or this recording can also be shared with you as well. It should be available after the call is over. Something else I will just show you, because when when BIM 360, so BIM 360 still exists. Autodesk Construction Cloud is kind of the new version of BIM 360, but they both still exist in a separate context. But just to make you aware, depending what your license and subscription is, and if you have a subscription to both, you will still get access to all of your various different projects as part of. You can still access your BIM 360 projects from your Autodesk Construction Cloud as long as you have the correct subscription type as well, just to make you aware. So it's not like you have two separate logins and there'll just be a separate symbol. There'll be a BIM 360 one beside the symbol, and then there'll be an Autodesk Construction Cloud one beside that as well. Okay, so I don't see any further questions coming in. Thanks everybody for your time. And again, feel free to drop Diatech an email at those particular contact details. And somebody, either myself or somebody else as part of the sales or technical team, are more than happy to offer you some advice.